Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity?
VALKYRIE ELYSIUM is an action role-playing game that has been primarily developed by Tri-Ace. Primarily developed, like what, did they just pay a visit to Square Enix and then just dipped off or something?
Mr. Delaney's office. Oh, hello, Mr. Delaney. If you're not feeling well, I'm sorry. Yes, I can have that ready for you, and you'll be stopping in to pick it up? Oh, you'll stop in tomorrow. And what about the big presentation today at 2 o'clock? Absolutely, I'll have them conference you in from home. Okay. Feel better, Mr. Delaney.
I don't know. Oh shit, I just spoiled who published the game. Square Enix. Maria, tasked by an all-father Odin to prevent the completion of Ragnarok. As Maria quests through the devastated Midgard, she is confronted by a mysterious Valkyrie, who serves Vanir. They both clash to not only see which one is right or wrong in their journey, but to also reveal answers. Now, lately, I've been aching to find a female hacking slashing game. Now, since I had the PS5 for a long while now, for over a year, I have been on the verge of just finding a female hacking slash game. There has been some recently that's coming out that they have been pushing the date back, like Wanted Dead. As soon as I've seen the gameplay footages of the game, I could not wait for the game to come out, but they have pushed it to February 2023. Aww. Yeah. And then we got Bayonetta 3. That looks good, that looks very, very fantastic, but unfortunately it's gonna be on the Switch. I proudly and respectively will say, fuck you, Nintendo. But moving on, I was aching to find a game that would please my needs until those games would come out, and I have found and caught my eye into VALKYRIE ELYSIUM. Now, is VALKYRIE ELYSIUM, did it satisfy my needs of a female hacking slashing game, or is it just a good game in general? Well, let's just say here that the game pleased me in both aspects. Now, jumping into this game, I did not know that they made a couple or a few VALKYRIE games that replicated this one. So for those who are new to the game like I am, and y'all are aching and itching to see if y'all got to play the originals, no, this is a whole entire different game, a whole different type of experience, new characters, new drive, new motives, and a new look to the new and faithful. So I was like, okay, cool, because I didn't want to dig deep into the lore of the whole VALKYRIE franchise. And at the same time, the story of the game is really not that difficult. It's pretty simple in a way. In fact, it kind of leads you by the hand by as you playing as the main character, Maria. All she does is just serve Odin. And she is just doing errands for him and just fulfilling his prophecy and his request. And as she's doing this, we begin to know more about her drive, know more about her characteristics and her motivations too, is how she became a Valkyrie and what her intentions is in the futuristic justice of us progressing in the game with her, even with the side characters that come along with her. Now, one thing I will say about Maria's character, I like her character. I think Maria's character is strong, witty, self-indulged, and above all, a very good energizing motivator to the point where I felt her energy. And that's actually not saying much because Valkyries are supposed to act like this, strong-willed, minded, Amazonian females to stop at nothing to fulfill their master's wishes and stuff. I was kind of getting Wonder Woman vibes with her, but one thing that stood out about Maria's character is that, man, she is an asshole. I mean, she literally taunts enemies. She literally dogs them out as you begin to attack them or after you attack them. And she even talks shit about the player. Yeah, there was even times where she was even dogging me out playing this game. I like that a lot. I like where she breaks the fourth wall and she talks as if she knows what we're thinking, what the players is thinking. But at the same time, the game loops of her repeating herself over and over and over and over and over. I thought we was through this. I thought we was behind this shit. Ever since I have been through these problems with games that replicate this shit on a PS3, I thought that by me playing on a PS4 and PS5, I would never go through this shit again. And it is still happening. Look, this is the new generation. This is the new generation consoles. New engine, new gameplay, new graphics, new way to pull ourselves into the realistic gestures of the games that we play. Get rid of this fucking shit. Seriously, this is unacceptable. Now, as for the side characters, I want to talk about Egon. Egon, I like his character. He is one of the characters that you would find in your journey as you begin to play as Maria. But you don't play as Egon, unfortunately. He is just a side character that you use to help you fulfill these battles, and trust me, you do need his help because he is an elemental fighter. He fights to use swords, of course, but he uses an element of electricity. Same thing with Cypher. I think I like Cypher more than anybody in this game because Cypher, he uses water, and when it comes to me using elemental tricks on games, water is one of my main favorite elemental attacks. It's been proven, okay? And Cypher matches it. But unlike their characteristics of how they use their tactics, how is their attitude? How is their characters themselves? Good. I thought they was good, well warranted. I liked them both. You come across other characters in the game, but not to spoil much, but these are the two that are mentionable, and I thought that was great. Especially when you begin to know more about them and you do side missions so you can know more furtherization of their drive and their motivations and just what they stand for as them trying to help Maria in her journey. Now let's talk about the gameplay itself. The combat is great. The combat is freaking fantastic. I like the fights. I like the battles. I like the fact that you can change your move tactics, your elemental tactics to the point where you can choose different variety of ways of how you can attack and use elemental abilities on enemies. I was getting Summoner vibes, and thank God, because ever since I played Summoner 1 and 2, I have been beginning to get myself more real, I was beginning to get myself more pulled into me being more familiarized with RPG games like this. And trust me, the elementals do work. You can use poison, you can use water, you can use fire, you can basically use a lot. And ever since I played Summoner, it is basically, I literally gotten used to this shit already on VALKYRIE ELYSIUM. In fact, I'm gonna have to say that VALKYRIE ELYSIUM is actually a tad bit easier than Summoner in Summoner 2, because man, if you don't use elemental abilities on the enemies on Summoner and Summoner 2, you're gonna pay for the shit. You ain't gonna take you're not gonna take no damage to the enemies at all. But on VALKYRIE ELYSIUM, there are two bars, elemental bars to stun the enemies and a life bar. Use a regular weapon if you don't really want to use no type of elemental tactics, and you can take the enemies down. But it's gonna take a while to get there. The combat is fluid, the combat is intense. You can use a lot of weapons such as a sword or a staff or basically anything that's sharp. You can find these weapons in game progression, so you can mix up your tactics as you begin to fight these enemies, which will prevent you from getting bored and things getting repetitive, because you kind of get the same enemies thrown at you, but the only difference is their elemental abilities. So it keeps you guessing, it keeps you on your toes. But if you're like me, if you play RPGs with a passion, you're gonna get used to it pretty quickly. I like Maria's tactical style of how she maneuvers herself into combat, but it's not to the point where it's creative. You have a lot of but you have a lot of hack and slashing games that has their stylistic gestures of the main character of how they do things, like Bayonetta, God of War, freaking Devil May Cry. Each of those characters have their own stylistic way of how they attack. But when it comes to Maria, she was giving me a lot of Ninja Gaiden vibes. The way how she was attacking, the way how she was taunting enemies, the way how enemies was coming at you, and the way how you was taking enemies down when it comes to execution, automatic movesets. But I feel as if I was getting so much into her being like Ninja Gaiden to the point where I was expecting her to do a female version of an Azuna drop.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry that you had to see that clip. I just kind of wish they had the zoom and drop on there, but unfortunately they don't. But that'd be pretty cool if they did. Leveling up is not hard at all either. People now you can level up by taking down enemies and just progressing through the level over and over and over again. Thank God you can repeat the levels. But if you really are a scavenger like I am, you're gonna break open every fucking box that's around you, and that's what I've been doing. I have been going around the areas, repeating the levels, and just breaking open a lot of boxes. And some people thought it was repetitive. Some people thought it was lacking a challenge, but I thought it was fine. I thought I had no problem with it. I thought it was simple, straightforward, and at the same time, it brought me back to those old days of when I was playing games on the PS1 and PS2, and I was just cracking open boxes and just hoping that I could find something rare and something good for me to use. And they got this here on VALKYRIE ELYSIUM. They did not let go of the old retrospect of you just feeling joyful when you open the chest. At the end of the day, I enjoyed VALKYRIE ELYSIUM. I thought VALKYRIE ELYSIUM was great. The ending was pretty good. It made me want more, honestly. But at the same time, for what the issues that I have mentioned and for what it has stand for, I'm gonna have to say that this game is not worth $60. Wait for a price drop. This game is gonna definitely be $40 or maybe $30 within a few months, because there's a lot of good games like God of War, and Sonic Frontier, shit, man, Castalos Protocol, Dead Space. This game is gonna be overlooked unless they drop this damn price down. If people have not played it already, go and check it out. You guys will not be sorry. I'm gonna have to give VALKYRIE ELYSIUM a B-. I was satisfied. I thought this game was good. But at the same time, I feel like games like this needs to be pushed more under the wagon ratio when it comes to playing stuff like this and trying to overlook the issues that should have been addressed since the PS4. Like I said, I mean, she repeats her voice every single time she fights and after she fights. And after she defeats the enemy, she says the exact same thing, to the point it was killing me. It felt like I was defeated. You know what I'm saying? But that's honestly the only flaw I have of this game. Everything else pass with fine colors when it comes to the potential ratio of it being a game itself. Some people may have a problem of the games lacking the story element, but I felt like if the drive was there, then I was pulled in, especially if the character development was there also. Well, that's all I gotta say for today. Please stay tuned for more of my upcoming game reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and you guys have a good day.